Warning! The following gameplay video was created by a scrub. If scrub gameplay disturbs you, stop the video now. Why hello. It seems that we have something to do here. Specifically, we have a forest to explore and at least partially chop down, apparently. The last obstacle that actually hindered us was the large suit of armor with probably something in it, although I cannot be sure. Whatever it was, it could apparently cast a powerful spell, so that is definitely something to be careful about. I don't have to be too terribly careful about these guys, though, because they cannot power through my attacks, which is very, very handy. Oh. Alright, so one thing I noticed while playing Dauntless was that it had a very generous and overall friendly method of deciding whether you dodge through an attack. It's sort of like Adept mode in Monster Hunter in that if your iframes touched the attack in progress, that means the attack could no longer hurt you. I know that Adept is technically different from that, it just gives you a whole bunch more iframes, but the effect is more or less the same. And, of course, that doesn't apply to every single attack in Dauntless, but most of them, which is good enough for me. Anyway, that's definitely not how Dark Souls works. And, therefore, where I end up at the end of the dodge matters quite a lot. Also, I noticed that these guys have decided to not lie in wait anymore. And I'm kind of surprised about that. Actually, just this second, I realized it's probably not because I went and woke them up in my previous run. Most likely, they're designed to stand up when the item they're guarding is gone, and since I took the item, they are awake forevermore. At least that's my best guess. Also, I'm a little ashamed. Last time I didn't even need to use an Estus flask before this. Oh, it's invulnerable during get-up, is it? So, that dodge, I definitely should have gotten hit at the end of it, but apparently it was very well timed, purely by accident, I might add. And it didn't actually bother to cast that spell that time, so I couldn't test my idea. Nonetheless, at this point I went around looking for that tree that I cut down before, but apparently those do not come back. Which actually makes the secret passage a little harder to find now. Also, that was the thing that scared me off. And now that I've actually tried fighting it, I feel kind of ashamed about that. Also, I didn't look up what green blossoms did until after the fact, and that sounds pretty darn powerful, actually. At least, potentially. Also, that tree was turning around. Now that I know to look for it, you can't fool me. Well, there's probably one or two others that did fool me, but I just wasn't looking for them. Anyway. So, I wasn't too happy about searching a secret passage if I didn't even know what the normal passage was like. So I decided to explore around here a little bit first. by around here I mean backwards quite a few steps, because even when watching this video I don't really have a good map sense. Well, at least the bush monsters stick around, so I know where I've been. And the main thing I wanted to do was try and get a bearing for the geography so I could figure out which way to explore to get at that tantalizing thing up on the ledge there. But I had no luck finding anything that led in that direction. Just wanted to double check to make sure that there is in fact some sort of cave there or other method of travel that would actually get me there, potentially. And oops! I should have looked where I was going. And accidentally discovered that that was not actually a bottomless pit, it just led me right back to the shortcut. Which means that there was a possibility, albeit a remote one, that I might have just found it on my own without those messages last video. Anyway. Well, I wasn't 100% sure that I was traveling through previously explored ground, but that apparently clued me in. And at that point, if I hadn't discovered the secret passage, I would have been completely spooked by those red things, but now I just want to kind of separate the enemies. Ooh, that second dodge was extremely lucky. I did not actually know what attack that armor was using. I haven't actually tried any kind of pyromancy on those things, although it's weird. Between videos I was thinking maybe I should try that. Except that, of course, my sword worked well enough. I guess that's something I could go back and try out sometime in case I decide to play through. Okay, that was rather rude. And I was trying to dodge to the left that time. Oh well. But actually a good idea would have been to just except in that case, dodging to the left is away from the enemy's weapon again. What am I doing? Oh well. That's right, some enemies are left-handed and some are right-handed, and I can't believe I never paid attention to that before. I kind of wonder now whether some enemies do more durability damage to your weapon per hit. I remember that was a pretty big thing in the Dark Cloud games. And I would not be at all surprised if that was a mechanic of some sort in this game. I think that would make my katana a fair deal worse, because the game was pretty clear about the durability being low. Anyway, since I wasn't really sure what I could do from that secret passage, I sort of decided to do the old exploration trick of just clinging to all the walls to see if I can find some passage that I missed before, but no. The only item that I found was that Soul of a Proud Knight, which seems very odd to me. The designers definitely put some effort into creating this area, so it feels like there should be more around here, but I don't know. There's been places like that before that I've encountered, so maybe there just isn't. I have no doubt that there's plenty of red herrings in this game. Well, I guess there wasn't any serious harm done, though. Also, I'm impressed by the ambient sounds that they used for this area. It's definitely one of the least unfriendly sounding places. And here's where I discover a new enemy. At first I was wondering, hey, is that one of those living trees and when I get too close it attacks me? Also, apparently I just walked right by one of those ambushes. Wow, how did I not realize that before? But apparently no, it was just a separate enemy that was crawling on the tree. Yeah, I just want to kind of double check the stuff I've picked up. I don't actually expect to have the stats to use a spear or... I actually do technically have the stats to use it two-handed, I think. Well, actually, maybe not. Actually, no. If the game rounds down and there's some evidence that it does, I can't even use that thing two-handed. And whoa! Here's where I uncovered a wonderful little encounter. Well, at least I had the good sense to run when I saw those things waking up, but I was completely unprepared for the number of enemies that would show up at once. I had seriously no idea. And I was hoping that, well, the plants move a lot faster than the armor, so I could keep them a fair distance away from each other, but that's not always the case. Though those things have a surprising amount of hustle. And when they get into attack range, they do not take their time. Like, these aren't like the skeletons or those knights in the chapel where they'll sometimes stand around in a defensive stance. No, no. That is not their style. Also, I tried to do a double swing there by holding down the button, but it didn't seem to work that way. So, something to learn for later. Also, apparently, spamming rolls in one direction does not make you permanently invulnerable. Well, not that I thought it was a serious possibility. That would make the game way too easy, and, well, yeah. So there it is. I think that with a little bit more awareness of multiple enemies, I could have gotten through that the first try, but that was one of those things where, okay, that was actually fair. I have no complaints. I'll just go back and do it again. Actually, now that I'm not wasting my time looking around all of the side passages or examining walls, it didn't take long to get back here at all. And now that I know what to look for, well, except for that, and this is proof that those guys come back. Woo. That was one of those things where I... Okay. Now, I talk a lot about mistiming the dodge roll. And I want to make this clear that even though I really dislike the delay on the dodge rolls, it is on me to get used to it. Like, if I press the button and the roll comes out, that's because I didn't do it right. Now, let's see if I can find some of those ambushes before they wake up. That's my official name for them now, in case you didn't notice before, which you definitely did. Right, so I did experiment a little bit with these guys, and no, I'm fairly sure I can't backstab them. It would be pretty fun if I could, and oop! I thought I was dead for sure there. So apparently it is possible to struggle out of there, or at least at that point the spell had worn off a little bit. Okay, dodged in the right direction, or yeah, in both ways that time. So that makes things a little bit easier. At least I don't have to fight all of it at once. I tried locking on while it was sitting there, but no go. I guess that was too easy. What I don't understand is why you can hit it while it's sitting there, but not while it's getting up. Like that. That was annoying. That, however, was definitely my fault. Uh-oh. So, I don't actually know how long that lasts, but now that I can clearly observe what's going on, I can sort of test it out. That time I had to get a lot closer before the ring effect even triggered. I don't know if it just held me in place right before the attack hit, or if once again I didn't dodge roll in time. It's kind of tough to tell. And I guess it's kind of a moot point, maybe. Because now I got the treasure. Let's see what it is. Oh. Well, that's twice in a row that I dealt with a treasure guarded by a whole bunch of enemies, only to find out that I can't actually use it. Oops. Yeah, I definitely can't backstab them. On the other hand, that seems to work. It's close enough to a backstab as makes no difference, I suppose. And since they take that long to get up, it's pretty easy to do. So I guess as long as I have a little bit of room to act, I can beat those things for free from now on. I suspect that if I was going there with weaker weapons, I would have to just avoid them, because, well, I can definitely outrun stuff like that. Or yeah, maybe pyromancy would work as well. Tough to say. Even though I could have easily tested it before. And this took me by surprise. Even though it was a gate, I thought, well, it's one long narrow corridor and we've already done the Taurus demon, so... Nope. we got a fight, and I have no idea what to expect. This is actually not the first butterfly boss encounter I've encountered in a video game. The other one I fought was in Dark Cloud 2, also known as Dark Chronicle. And that butterfly turned out to be fairly pleasant to talk to after the fight, which I mean, I can't really expect that here. Now this is one of those cases where if I knew beforehand what I was going to fight, this would look a lot different, because then even if my short bow wasn't fully upgraded, I would at least know to put it in my equip bar. But as it turns out, the designers gave me an option for players who don't have any ranged attacks at all, which is very kind of them. Also, this confirms two things. First of all, the Aito is indeed fairly good at killing bosses, or at least that particular boss. And second, yeah, my gear is definitely over-leveled for this, and I'm probably over-leveled for this. But whatever, I had no need to head this way before, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Except that I could have gotten a whole bunch of free moss, which might have been nice in Blighttown. Definitely faster than farming the souls to buy them, I think. Oh. At first I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, look, a whole bunch of treasure. And then, oh. That's the blacksmith. Oh. Wonder how that even happened. Like, the blacksmith seemed pretty okay. The one that I use the most doesn't even laugh when he talks, so I feel like it would have been really nice to talk to this guy. But no such luck. Also, I got a key, which I did not expect. So I guess that opens up more possibilities, am I right? So, I guess we have to deliver the bad news.
My, that's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith.
Yeah.
Might you consider leaving that with me? I could produce divine weapons with a flame such as that.
Well, that's one problem solved, I guess. Let's talk to him tomorrow, see if I can tell him where I got that from.
Right decision. You soon shall see. I know little of the Darkroot Garden, although I've heard rumors of a divine blacksmith, those who get stumped in the catacombs seeking.
Well, I guess not. I guess this is a nice counterpart to some of my longer videos.
Be careful out there.
I didn't expect to accomplish something quite so quickly. Also, I came out of there with my souls and stored humanity intact, which I definitely did not expect. Well, that's probably because I was just, as mentioned before, over-leveled. Well, regardless, I'll see you next time.